over another day of financial literacy and financial freedom. What's going on here? Okay, there we go. Sorry, YouTube. I don't know why it's acting up today. Um, but we're still in the book of You Were Born Rich. Let me change this light. Okay, there we go. You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor. And so today we are going to be in the section of Money Must Circulate, but I'm going to skip to one exact story because I think this story is very important and it ties into the title, Don't Be Like Job. And we're talking about the book of Job in the Bible. Believe it or not, the Bible has a lot of information in there about financial literacy. I really believe people need to quit focusing so much on Revelations and actually read the rest of the books of the Bible. There's more in there about how to change your mind, how you can get the things that you want in life, how you have the power to get everything that you desire in this life. And so let's go ahead and get into this reading. This brings me to an even more dramatic illustration of the same principle, namely the story of old Mr. Chapman. Mr. Chapman was an elderly gentleman who lived a few doors down the street from our family when I was just a boy. Although there was a tremendous age difference between us. As you're coming in, hey everyone, let me know where you're coming in from, which country, which city. If you're here in Zambia, let me know also. Although there was a tremendous age difference between us, Mr. Chapman and I became fast friends, and I often used to watch him pushing his small junk cart up and down the block. You see, Mr. Chapman worked as a junk dealer, and he made his living by picking up the things other people had thrown away. As the years went by, however, Mr. Chapman became more and more stooped from his arduous labors. And one day, shortly after World War II, he passed away. Since he lived alone and apparently had no close relatives living nearby, the police entered his house to take stock of his possessions. Not surprisingly, they found the house littered with many old furnishings and assorted memorabilia from Mr. Chapman's past. Thank you for the likes, everybody. I appreciate it. Also, let me know how y'all liking these segments of me actually going through and reading the books that I use to increase my financial literacy and help with my financial freedom become greater. Let me know if y'all like this stuff. And assorted memorabilia from Mr. Chapman's past. However, much to their amazement, the police also discovered over $100,000 in old bills packed in boxes throughout the house. Now, since this was around like the World War II time, that $100,000 was probably equivalent to about a few $1 million. Okay, yeah, it's no problem. If you can't catch up the lives on YouTube, on TikTok, go to YouTube also, Jason Chaney 777. All of the videos are backed up there on YouTube. So think about this. A guy who was just going around picking up junk that other people did not want. He was able to save up. Hey, how you doing, Sky? He was able to save up the equivalent of $1 million in today's currency. So this shows you like there's nothing you can't do to actually be able to earn enough money. But there are things that you must follow to be able to utilize that money and get the best benefits out of it. Quick to pick up on so unusual an occurrence, the Toronto Daily Star carried a front page story the next day about Mr. Chapman, in which it asked the obvious question: why would an individual worth well over $100,000 choose to keep his money stashed away in old boxes, thrown haphazardly throughout his house? Although I was still quite young at the time, I asked myself a similar question. Namely, why would a person like Mr. Chapman choose to live like a veritable pauper when he has so much money at his disposal? He could have used his money for his own enjoyment. He could have invested it to earn a return for himself and to help create jobs for other people. Or he could have just deposited in the bank and earned interest on his money. He had all of these opportunities, but this shows you firsthand, just because you have money, if you do not have financial literacy, you're not going to understand how to utilize it. Financial literacy is the first goal we all must try to achieve. It's the most important goal there is. Because without financial literacy, you will never understand how to use money in your advantage. Money is a spiritual thing. Money is a magnifier. It magnifies who we are internally. Um, if you watch any live stream people, especially the ones that are overseas, you can tell people who are broke from people who actually are living a comfortable life and have money. You see their attitude change as they're getting donations coming in, or when they're getting paid from whatever social media outlets. And then you can see when they're angry because they're struggling, they're not making as much money. And so this is why financial literacy is very important. This story of Mr. Chapman proves it. And we all probably have seen examples of this throughout our life, of people inside our families that had money, but they just thought money was going to be the solution to all their problems. And if you're probably looking at their families now, if they're still alive, they do not have much money. And this is the sad truth. Most people, most families, money doesn't last longer than 2 generations, 3 generations if you're lucky. But because most of the people are not, yes, Mr. Chapman. And this is in You Were Born Rich, great book by Bob Proctor. And so because most people are not teaching, most people do not have the ability to teach their kids, their next generation, what exactly they're doing. They're just leaving them money, and they're thinking leaving them money is going to help solve their problems. It is never going to solve their problems. You have to increase their awareness and their understanding. This is why this is very important. Like if you have a child and you want to start studying these type of books, study it with your kid. Your child is going to understand things way faster than you, because all they have to do is make their mind up and say, okay, I want to be financially abundant. You have to change your mind. You have to go in and change the programming or paradigms around you, how you feel about money. It sounds easy, but unless you know how to change your mind, it's not as easy as it is. And that's why I did the live yesterday morning, talking about how to change your mind. I'm going to keep doing those lives. I'm going to actually do one on a PowerPoint because I really want you to be able to see it great. Because once you learn what the mind really is, it's not your brain. The brain is just a switch board that sends electrical signals throughout your body, and some spiritual stuff too, but not going into too much detail. But outside of that, once you understand what your mind really is, you will learn how to hack your mind into your benefit. And I even to this day, like I'm there's times I'm like Job. I'm sitting here miserable about something. The only catch is I don't let myself sit in misery for too long. I have little things that I have in place that kicks me out of it. Sometimes I just go into a straight meditation. Sometimes I go for walks because it'll get my mind off something. Sometimes I have a fireplace that I'll put on the TV on YouTube, and I'll sit and just watch the flame. Sometimes I light candles and watch the flame of the candles. There's a lot of different things that you can do. Hey, Jimmy, what's up with you, brother? How you been doing, man? Haven't seen you in a while, bro. But like, you can change your mind. Like, it doesn't matter how old you are. Just because our subconscious closes up at around 7 years old, you're able to learn how to reopen it. What it is when you learn to go into your subconscious mind, you're going into your Zen, your flow state, the vortex, what Abraham Hicks calls it. But you have to understand how to do it yourself. So like I was met up with some people 2 Wednesdays ago, where we go meet up with some people. They have a wine Wednesday, and they have non-alcoholic wine for me. And one of the people there was like, how do you do that? Like, how do you go into your quiet place? 'Cause I call it my quiet place. When I go into my vortex, I'm like in a dark room and it's just me and I'm just happy. Like it helps shelter me away from people. You can notice me doing it if I'm in a large group situation, because I'm very uncomfortable with large groups, because I'm very mindful of what type of frequencies I'm absorbing from people. And so I'll usually just go into my safe space. And she was like, well, how do you do that? And I'm like, you kind of have to learn how to do it. But like, for me, I learned how to do it through pain. through in pain, like such as in boot camp, in the military, running, a lot of different things. Even just the pain of seeing the society around me, I learned how as a kid just to go inside. Now, at one point, I forgot how to do that, and so I had to force myself back into it. But I forced myself back into it by slowing down. Once you slow down, it gets very uncomfortable. Like if you're here on the continent and you dealing with load shedding at night, it is dead silent. Like you can hear anything that makes a noise. You'll hear the houses creak and crack, all of these different things. But what it is you're uncomfortable because now you're just sitting there, you're alone, and your mind is starting to think. You're starting to connect to source, and you're starting to get a lot of thoughts and things. Now, you're going to get thoughts around the things that you've been filling your mind with the type of images, such as TV shows, maybe books or things like that if you're reading. But if you're not mindful of how you've been controlling what you've been consuming, you're going to go to a negative place, especially if you've been watching stuff about a lot of unaliving, drugs, the usual TV shows, the nonsense that we watch and movies. And then you'll start feeling like, oh man, what was that noise I heard? What's this thing back here? But if you do the exact opposite and you start filling your mind around stuff around money, getting money ideas, all of these different things, when you go into that quiet place and things slow down, you're going to start having ideas and start seeing yourself like, oh, wait, I can do this to make money. I can do this. I can do that. It's just one of those little hacks, but you do have to understand what your mind is and how to control it and change it. And so let me go finish this up. But instead, he chose to put it on a jar on the shelf, and he thereby rendered it absolutely useless. No, my friends, there isn't any doubt about it. Money is not meant to be hoarded. Rather, it is meant to be used, enjoyed, and circulated. So many of us wants to save money, save money, save money. There's nothing wrong with saving money with a purpose. But because most of us don't have a purpose to save money, we're usually just saving for a rainy day. And then when that rainy day comes, we're like, oh man, this sucks. But that's what you saved it for. Instead, you need to start saving money with a purpose. Do you want to go on a cruise? Do you want to invest in a business? Is it going to help you do something? Like it's meant to be enjoyed and circulated. Like if you're just thinking like, oh, I'm going to put money in the bank, something is going to come up that needs that money every time. Even with me now, it's saved with a purpose to go towards an asset, usually towards land. Like right now, I'm saving towards getting cars to put on Yango to create more money. It's just going for circulation. So just be mindful of that. I know there's a lot of financial advisors that be telling a lot of nonsense. You need to save, you need to save, you need to do this. They don't know anything that they're talking about. Chef Seaway, yes, I'm eating chikanda today. I eat chikanda almost every week. I have a new supplier, a new person that's cooking it for me with chili. So yes, I actually eat a lot of chikanda. I actually love chikanda. I don't know why y'all don't be serving it at restaurants. Y'all be getting on my nerves with that. So please, whatever you choose to do with your money, don't make the same mistake that poor old Mr. Chapman did. Please note that when I suggest that money should be kept in circulation, I do not mean it should be squandered. There is a world of difference between those two concepts. And if you haven't found out what the difference is yet, I would suggest you find out as soon as possible. And this is so true. When I first read this book, I was like, nah, not. Is there really a difference between squandering money? Like if I'm doing things correctly, am I squandering it? And the truth is, yes. Even now, I see how I squander money. I'm like, do I need some chips? Do I need to buy Pringles? Do I need to buy this juice, this ginger beer and all of this? I can drink water. Do I need to go buy fruit juice when I can just go buy a bag of apples? Yes, you can get this book on Kindle. You can get this if you're here in Lusaka, you can get it in East Park, right at the kiosk. It is You Were Born Rich by Bob Proctor. They have a Kindle version. You can actually get it for free on YouTube. I'm just waiting on my apologies. We had load shedding. And let me see. There's another part. I don't know where it's at exactly, but I remember what it is. So you can, Chef Seaway, you can actually get it for free on YouTube. Go to Proctor Gallagher Institute. That is the YouTube channel. It is Bob Proctor's YouTube channel. And he has the full audio book there. It's actually reading through where you can see the words on the page also. So you don't have to spend money if you don't want to. And also, like almost any educational book right now, especially professional development, there's usually an audio book on it, energy in some books, especially when they're talking about money. But some books, I do just keep them. I just do them for free on YouTube. So I don't feel like you have to spend money. Because sometimes I think we just focus on TikTok. Okay, YouTube is back now. So yeah, like you can get these books. I always focus on TikTok. Okay, YouTube is back now. So yeah, like you can get these books also for free. The network is really acting up. Yes, it is. I'm about to actually cut it short because it's acting up bad. I'm about to actually cut it short because it's acting up bad. Because even with my Starlink, I don't think it has. I think it's getting blocked. But what I wanted to just end is like the reason why I put "Don't be like Job" in the Bible. One of the things that Job said, I was looking for the passage in there, but when the lights went out, it threw me off. He says, "Oh, the thing that I fear most has come upon me." A lot of times we're so focused on what's wrong with our lives. It's the thing that is stopping us from changing our life. And what I mean by that is go to the passage of the Bible where it says, when you are sick, say I am well. When you are weak, say I am strong. You don't focus on what you're feeling temporarily. That is the difference between focusing on your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. Most of us operate only on our conscious mind. And what I mean by that is we're operating off our senses, everything around us. Like when people are always like, why would you come to Africa? Why would you come to Zambia? It's horrible. It's third world. I'm like, guys, you see third world. I see opportunity. I see money. Every day I'm seeing money slip through my hands. And I'm like, I don't see what you see. I see a bunch of people who are good people and all they need is just entrepreneurs coming here. I don't see the third world, this poverty as they try to make it seem like African countries are. I see a lot of potential for growth, a lot of potential for advancement. I see the future. And that's how you have to start looking at your finances also. Like when I was at my brokest, I was seeing myself at my richest. Like if that makes sense. At my brokest, I was seeing myself at my richest. And even now, like what I'm focusing on is like, I'm looking at yachts. I'm looking at private planes. I've been looking at helicopters in South Africa. Do I have the money physically right now to buy those things? No. But who cares? Who cares if you don't have the money? And this is how you have to make this fun. You have to make it a game. You have to stop putting negative emotions in it. Third world, we don't have thousands on the street in Zambia like it is out there. No, you don't. There's like you know what's funny? A lot of us don't even know what first, second, and third world mean. Most of it is just talking about how industrialized your country is. Most of the United States now is actually third world. A lot of they don't build anymore. They're not doing much development or improvement of they don't even have a bullet train yet. Like, think about that. Like the United States stalled a long time ago. And even this stuff that see, Jimmy is still there. He's telling you. And Jimmy's been to Africa. Like the thing that's funny to me is the US markets, they market their country. Like when you see the White House, you think like, oh man, Washington, D.C. is beautiful. But everybody keep telling me just right across the street, you can go buy crack. They show you one picture. The biggest problem with African countries is African countries do not market themselves. They let other countries outside of the continent market them. And guess what they show? Stuff that I've never seen here. They will make you think like everybody's on the street poor. There's no cars here. You're going back into some village. People are rural. They don't speak English. Like I remember I got into an argument with someone on TikTok that he's like, oh, they need schools. I'm like, bro, they don't need schools here. Africans are very intelligent, educated people. Only in Africa you will find someone who's a chemical engineer driving a fucking Uber or Yango. And I'm like, bro, like, why you don't have a job? Why are you not helping change this country? Like, you're too valuable to sit here and be driving me around. And we'll be having such great conversations, but then it all goes down to entrepreneurs create jobs. That's it. Jobs are created by entrepreneurs. Africa is skipping steps, and it's not Africans' fault. It was by design. Everything that's wrong with Africa was implemented on purpose. This isn't something that just miraculously happened and, oh, Jason came and he's so smart. No, I'm not that smart. Once you see how countries are torn down and how countries are forced to be brought back a certain way, you see like, oh, wait, there's certain key things that are missing that the people are not given. And those key things are so crucial. That is what messes up the country. Like right now, so many people been hitting me up like, oh, what about the travel ban the US is doing on Zambia? And all these people like, oh, Zambia might do this to make it hard for Americans. And I'm like, why would they? The worst thing any African country could do right now is make it hard for Americans to come. You want those people to leave America. Like even right now, these are law-abiding citizens. So many people are so worried about this stuff in the movies, like, oh, you CIA. Guys, I'm just going to tell you flat out. I know that movie with Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz came out and make it look like black people are spies, just like whites. That's a movie. That is marketing. That is not the true United States. We are not up there like that at those levels. I was on one of those levels, not CIA, but in the military with a top secret clearance. For every 10 to 20 white people, there was one black person. The majority of the black people within my unit worked in two areas, motor pool, and then they were supply. There wasn't many black people in my area. They wasn't there. A lot of people was like, oh man, who is this dude? Like we don't even know what he do. I think all together, I don't want to say names out loud. Counting myself, there was 5 black people in my actual unit, top secret. Out of a unit of 100-some people, there was 5 blacks. Do the math. That's the statistics. That's not even on an 80-20 ratio, which is the Pareto principle. Like, we're not at these levels. But guess what? Do you get to meet Natasha? Yes, I know Natasha. But like the thing is though, like if you take the retired military and retired government workers from the United States, allow them a simple access into your country through a retirement visa, they're not able to work. They're not going to be a financial burden on your health care or any other system. You're literally just going to be getting money off of them. They're going to be hiring locals for driving. They're going to be hiring locals for cleaning up their house and things like that. That is boosting your economy. On top of that, they have the ability to create jobs. That is what you want. That is what the United States did back in the 20s and 30s when the United States was on that mission to become a great country. It wasn't that the United States was the smartest country in the world. They used immigration to their benefit. They took immigrants from all other parts of the world, and they knew those people were going to come with their skill sets and create jobs. It's about entrepreneurship. Big corporations do not create jobs. Entrepreneurs do. Mom and pop businesses. It starts in the S quadrant, the small business quadrant. That has the biggest impact on countries. Look at the United States right now. Most of their mom and pop business after letting go of people. Yes, exactly. And that's how it goes. It's a cycle. None of this is new. If you read the book Rise and Fall of Nations, it teaches all of this. On top of, if you put things in numerical order, you're going to see like some things just don't make any sense. Like, did you know there was a typewriter at the same time that there was still feudal Japan ninjas? Or samurai, not ninjas, samurai. Let me say that correctly. Ooh, okay, sorry, that thing scared me. But like, these are the things that they're not teaching in school. Even school is teaching us there's right and wrong answers. There's no right and wrong answer to do anything. There's multiple solutions to every problem. School do not teach us to actually be independent. It don't teach us to be financially literate. It teaches us to be financially illiterate. That's why most of us are forced to pay for college. College is one of the biggest financial illiteracy institutions in the world. And this is a worldwide problem because what I'm sure anybody can finish this whole statement. Oh, you need to go to school to get a good job, get an education so you can get a good job. But they don't tell you you're usually working for someone who dropped out of college. Like, what does that make? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense. The thing that really teaches us is learning from our failures, learning from our mistakes, is picking yourself back up. And when it comes to finances, we have been beaten down so much that we don't know what to do, that when we make mistakes, we're acting like Job and we just wary on it. And then we wonder why no opportunities come our way. And I like how Chef Seaway said, it's the biggest scam. True. Schooling is the biggest scam in the world. There's going to come a time, many generations down the line, they're going to look back at this time in history and they're going to call us barbaric. How could you force people to pay to go to school for an education that does not get them anywhere in life? Here in Zambia, prime example. Every 3 or 4 months, there's a new graduating class of nurses. You know who are some of the most unemployed people in Zambia? Nurses. Everyone's understaffed. Like, it makes no sense at all. Hey, how you doing, Cherie? Like, they have you will find a nurse working in China Mart or something. Like, just dumb people throughout Africa that have so many skill sets that are amazing, that could be making them a lot of money. But because they're listening to their family, they're being culturally respectable by, listening to the elders. But the truth is, the elders don't know nothing. The elders didn't grow up with iPhones. The elders didn't grow up with Chat GPT. And I'm not saying it to be rude. I'm just saying it like we have to put things in order. An elder cannot teach you anything in this world. We live in a world that they never even could have imagined. We have to start listening to ourselves. We have to stop asking old people for advice. They're not giving good advice. They don't understand what's going on. You have a better chance of asking a child for advice and getting actual good information compared to asking someone who is old. Like, and I'm not being mean here. Like, I know it sounds horrible to some people who are very big on culture, but we have to let a lot of culture go. And one of the biggest parts we got to let go is being guided by old people. Old people think old ways. We're not even in the 21st century anymore. Do you know how fast AI has developed? You can create your business plan. You can create mock-ups. You can do everything you want to do in less than an hour with artificial intelligence that would have took you months, if not years, just literally 4 years ago. And you're talking to someone that's in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and you think they're going to be able to give you good advice that's going to help your life, especially when it comes to financially. They don't understand what is going on here. They don't. Hey, how you doing, Sean? And like, this is why, like, I'm really big on always focusing on what is the new trends. If you've been watching on TikTok and YouTube, you're seeing that I'm doing the daily prosperity with Jason. All of that was made on AI. I had artificial intelligence the other day. I did it for about an hour, did the prompting program, and it had it develop all the graphics. And I have 2 months worth of content that I have already scheduled out. Artificial intelligence taught me that. Well, did it for me. It didn't even teach me. I've been doing prompting classes on AI for the last 3 years. And I would highly recommend anybody out there start using Chat GPT. Don't pay for it. Use the free features first. When it's time for you to pay, you will know. You will need the extra features when it's time for you to pay for it. Until then, don't. If you're someone who does a lot of graphics, use Canva AI to create graphics. Like, if you've downloaded the actual budgeting tracker that I put together for you, I had that done in Canva AI. I went in Canva AI. I just prompted. I told it what I wanted it to do, what sections that I wanted it to have, and it shot it out for me. And that's how I was able to do it. If you don't have the budgeting tracker yet and you need it, just if you're on TikTok, another thing of just me being persistent. Like, okay, you should get into AI. And the thing about the AI, which is amazing, no matter what field you're in, whatever you're interested in, TikTok right now, if you want a prompt for your field, just shoot me your field down below and I can actually help you. Use it to make a CV and cover letter for jobs. I literally got a job interview. Yeah. And you can even you can actually prompt it to write it towards that specific company. Like if you know what the exact companies you're going to actually be applying for, you can prompt Chat GPT to write everything out specifically for that company. And then I would actually put in there too, like your skill sets and how it can actually help boost that company, especially if you're doing sales or something like that. Like, do you know how amazing that is when someone sees, oh, okay, these are skill sets they have, but not only they're just saying like, oh, give me a job. They're saying, look, this is what I'm going to do for you. For my Americans out there, if you go back to the quote from JFK, don't ask for what your country can do for you, but what you can do for the country. What he mean by that is stop asking for people to just give you stuff. Make yourself of value. Show that you're someone of use. And then the opportunities are going to open up even more and more. Yes, I know the media try to show we're in this racial world still, but the truth is we're in a world about money. Even some of the most racist people in the world, they want to make money. And if you can show them, look, dude, I can make you some money, they're not going to be racist. A lot of racists over and over and over for an entire week. The way the conservative and liberal just show you the same story from a different viewpoint, highlighting something different. It's all about misinformation. They're using a psyop strategy on you, which is that's the whole point of the media, is to use psychological operations and to keep you confused. The more confused you are in life, you can't have time to focus on what you want for your life. You're never using the observer effect in your benefit. And what I mean by that, that's going into a quantum physics level. If you understand quantum physics, where if you're looking at a particle, if a particle goes through a sheet of gold, it's going to go 50-50 left or right or up or down, however it's set up. However, once you observe it, it changes. It no longer goes 50-50. It may go 30-20, 40-60, 70-30. But what that means is if you start using the observer effect of your life, start picturing your life as what you're doing, but as you're doing it, as if you're doing it right here and right now, using your imagination, you're starting to actually force the universe to give you the specific thing that you want. That is the observer effect. That is why I keep telling people now, ego is not the enemy. Your ego has been misidentified and misdefined for far too long. We have to understand what the ego is, and we have to understand that we are made up of multiple identities. Our identities are feelings or emotions, energy in motion. Each energy in motion is at a different frequency. We have an infinite amount of frequencies that we are capable of achieving. All our different goals are at different frequencies. And so we have to match those frequencies. That is the law of vibration. We have to generate that energy at that frequency within us. And when we do that, that is how we actually we do the law of attraction. What we want comes to us. This is why, like the movie The Secret, is great and all that it taught people that, oh, you can change your life. But it didn't teach you the truth. I want to be a billionaire all day long. But if you don't feel it, if you don't see yourself with $1 billion, if you're not vibrating at that frequency, you're just dreaming. You know, like how Napoleon Hill said, riches do not respond to wishes. Man, my network is bad. Oh, thank you for that. Thank you for that. And this is the truth. This is the hidden secret. Like when everybody out here trying to sell these, I'm going to get you to $1 million in 90 days. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. They're lying to you. You're the only person that can get yourself to where you want to go. And until you can truly believe yourself at doing these things, you're not going to do them. Like prime example, my entire life as a kid, I knew I was going to go into the government sector. I knew I didn't want to work past 50 years old. I saw my grandmother working till she was old. I saw my mom working. So all these people working, and I'm like, you're not getting benefit from working. And I'm like, why are you working till you die? That's slavery. I was one of those kids, I was rebellious. And you can try to fool me with so many words, but I'm like, at the end of the day, if the actions look the same, it's the same word. So a lot of us, what we call employment, we're indentured servants. We have traded our time for a little bit of cash, and that's if they even pay you on time. Especially like here in Zambia, all these companies that don't be paying people on time, ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Like, we are slaves. We are in a slave world. You have to become financially free. That's why if you read The Richest Man in Babylon, it explains that. The richest man in Babylon, he started out as a slave, and then he started learning his way. So like, don't feel like you're in a place to where you can't get any better. You can. We're all starting on equal grounding. The catch is you have to learn how to understand the language of money. Money is energy. It is energy that magnifies who you truly are at your core. This is why in the book it says, money is a servant to you. You do not serve money. When I first started reading it, I didn't understand it. I was a servant to money. I was like, man, I need money. I need money. I need money. And then when it finally clicked on me, I don't need money. I need to understand how to utilize money. And then when I started focusing on how to utilize money better, I started seeing I started budgeting better. I started having more money to do things I wanted to do. Not that I was earning more money. Even now, like I tell people, I'm not a multimillionaire. I'm not. I have my regular pension that comes in every month, and that is what I use to actually live my life, do all the things that I want to do, travel when I want to travel. And what I started understanding, especially here now, since I left in 2015, 2025 now. I've been on this financial journey since about 2010. I would say 2010 is when I really got focused on it. So 15 years now. 15 years later, financial freedom is way, way cheaper than being a slave to debt. It is so much cheaper. When you start learning how to manage the money you have already coming in, you start understanding the things that you really want, and you start understanding how to sacrifice for the things that may just give you instant gratification. Like, give you an example. I have the money in the bank to buy a PS5. Every time I look at the PS5, I went window shopping for like 3 months. I would go in, I would look at it, I would try to visualize myself with it. The picture just wasn't coming. Every time I was trying to visualize with it, you know what I saw? I saw bricks. I saw concrete. I was seeing like, yo, how much money am I spending towards a video game system that could have built probably half a house or maybe two houses if they're small enough? Like, that's how my mind was thinking, because I've increased my financial literacy so much that PS5 is a liability. It's not an asset. But when I start building these houses for rental income, those are lifelong assets that I can pass down to my children. And so I didn't buy a PS5. But guess what? That don't mean I still didn't buy something to have fun. I just went and bought an older Xbox One. It was about 90% cheaper than a PS5. I still went and got something. I'm still playing something when I want to play something. But like, that's the sacrifice. Sometimes we've been taught sacrifice just means everything's bad. Sacrifice means you're sacrificing or you're giving up something of an older part of you to gain something new that is a better. I'm having more fun with an Xbox One than I am not having anything. It still doesn't mean so I'm not missing out on a PS5. When the time comes, I will buy a PS5. But right now, it just isn't the time. Like, there's a time for sowing, there's a time for reaping. I'm in my sowing stages of sowing generational wealth. So once I start reaping some of that wealth, then guess what? I'm gonna go buy a PS5. It's no problem. And so don't feel like you have to minimize your life or hold your life back, especially when you hear like when I'm talking about sacrifice. It just means you're giving up parts of yourself that are not needed for the person that you want to become. And so I'm just going to end it here. My network is not the best. I do apologize. Tomorrow, I'm going to probably go in the morning Man, today was such a nice day. I just stayed at home all day. I didn't do nothing. Yeah. I barely even opened my door. It was such nice. I love moments like this. I'm a true introvert. But I appreciate everybody for hopping on. If you have any questions or comments, just leave those down below. Like I say, for TikTok, if you want the budgeting tracker, just shoot me a DM. You can just put tracker in there and I'll send it to you. If you're on YouTube, just put it in the comments. And just remember this, I am Jason, and success is simple once you know how.